Have you ever wanted to traverse a massive ocean but didn't feel like using the old oak boat you crafted as a little kid? Yeah, me neither. But as of today, Minecraft has 12 unique wood types that players like you and me can use. We can make floors, we can craft doors, and most importantly, we can craft ores. Get it? Because boats have ores? Yeah, I'ma just dip. But given that we have so much choice these days, why do most people just end up using oak, birch, or even freaking acacia to make their boats? Well, I wanted to change that because I was gonna collect all the boats. If I wanted to use a dark oak boat, I was gonna use the dark oak boat. If I wanted to use a mangrove boat, I was gonna use a mangrove boat. If I wanted a bamboo boat, I was gonna use a bamboo. Wait, what? That's not a boat. If I was gonna complete this challenge, I needed focus, commitment, and sheer frickin' will. For those of you who clicked on this video thinking this is gonna be an easy challenge, well, yeah, y'all are right, but it's gonna take a lot of RNG, alright? I mean, I can't just assume I'll find a tree, let alone two different trees the moment I spawn. I mean, that would be absurd. Oh damn, it really is that easy. After mining my first tree and quickly gathering stone tools, I quickly realized that I was indeed in a forest surrounded by a ton of trees, which meant wood! Lots of wood. I was in one of the good ones which had both birch and oak trees side by side, so I gathered a few logs and immediately crafted 2 of the 12 boats I needed. That was easy. I took a test drive and after a quick analysis realized the oak one just felt better, so I waddled to the nearby ocean and swam. I realized that this challenge would require a ton of exploring, so I decided to boat along as I thought of a game plan. After spotting a shipwreck and looting it for some quick iron, I found myself at a small, okay-ish plains biome. This was good, as it meant I could grab some food and, more importantly, some wool to make a bed. If I was going to explore, I did not want to die and end up back here. After 10 minutes of peaceful resource gathering, from the distance I spotted a village. I thought this could be useful and hopped on over, until I realized that it didn't really have anything to offer in terms of supplies. Well, except the iron golem. After relieving him of his duties and killing more cows, I explored on foot a little longer, and about 5 minutes later, I found it. A new tree! This one was a lone spruce tree, which meant one thing. New boat acquired. After waddling to a nearby river, I found some sugarcane which I added to my inventory. This will be important later, but don't worry, I'll remind you guys. After a short cooking break, nightfall approached and I coincidentally found yet another village. I found the new firefly bushes along the way and, I'm not gonna lie, I really like the ambience in this new update. After making quick work with the blacksmith, I found one of the librarian villager houses. You know, the one with the books and all. I stole the scrolls that were probably handed down to him from his great-great-granddad, so sorry Dr. Timmy. But nevertheless, as the sun rose, I found a new biome, the swamp. Unfortunately, it didn't offer any new wood types, so I quickly passed by it. I spotted a nether portal, which I thought would be useful since I needed to go to the nether for more wood types anyways, but it was pretty useless. By this point, I realized that this was going to be a long exploring adventure. I was on to such a good start, but now my progress had slowed down a lot. I began to take my frustration out on every cow I could find and destroy the local scenery by deforesting every sugarcane I laid my eyes on. I was pretty upset to say the least, but in my rage, I realized something. I had been collecting the resources to make books, a ton of them. And if I was able to gather 45 of them, I had the resources to make 15 bookshelves, the minimum amount to obtain level 30 enchantments. While this seemed like a huge tangent in my quest, it gave me an idea. If I was looking for every boat and needed every wood type, why not do it in style? Imagine chopping wood at breakthrough speeds not even the likes of Max Verstappen himself had ever achieved. Instead of being known as the melon guy, or the cookie guy, or the potato guy, I could be the woodcutter of Minecraft. I could be the wood guy. That sounded way better in my head, but nevertheless, if I wanted to complete this challenge faster, I needed an axe. Specifically, the enchanted diamond axe. So, as I explored endlessly on foot, I made sure to look out for cows and sugarcane whenever I could. But don't worry, I also looked out for trees. At one point, I had spotted this weird light green tree that I don't think I've ever encountered naturally. It definitely didn't belong here in the swamps, and unfortunately, it didn't yield me any new wood until... Oh my gosh, is that a dark oak biome? I didn't hesitate and bolted along as fast as I could. I chopped as much wood as I could, maybe more than I needed to, but it was worth it, because by the end of it all, I had obtained my 4th boat. I was officially 1/3 of the way through. Realistically, you would imagine that I immediately went off in another direction to look for more biomes, but the dark oak biome has one special quality. It can generate the pale garden, which would grant me access to yet another wood type, pale oak. Creative, I know. But if I found a pale garden right here, right now, it would be huge, as they're actually pretty rare. Unfortunately, luck was not on my side, and I didn't find it. I really didn't know what direction to traverse now, as since I wasn't using chunk base or any of those like weird websites that show you where the nearest biome is, any direction was just as good as any other. So, I grabbed my oak boat and swam, paying attention for the local sugarcane or cows I found. Not long after, I found another shipwreck, only this one looked a little different, not in its shape, but in its color. I'm not an artist, so I can't describe it really well, but it was a combination of 4 colors, 3 of which I had seen, 1 of which I had not. And upon closer inspection, I realized what it was: jungle wood. This was actually a pretty big deal. While jungle biomes aren't rare, it allowed me to skip an entire biome, which, in the grand scheme of things, is a huge W. I crafted the jungle boat and took it for a drive. Smooth. I had successfully obtained 5 out of the 12 boats I needed. The near my village didn't offer much again, so I skipped it, but when I took my next break, I realized that I was able to craft 26 books, which, when added to my previous 12, thank you Timmy, meant that I really only needed 7 more to make 15 bookshelves. I locked in, massacring families and draining beaches for resources, and before you know it, I had amassed all 45 books. I crafted them into the bookshelves I needed and thought long and hard. I had completed the first and arguably hard half of the enchanting table setup, and now I needed the enchanting table itself, which meant one thing: diamonds. And obsidian, but I'll worry about that later. So I left in search for a cave. Mining the diamonds was pretty uneventful. I just dug straight down and used my map to find a huge cave. I only needed 3 diamonds, but after mining a few, I realized that this cave was so damn big that not stripping it bare of its blue gems would be criminal. I spent the next 20 minutes farming diamonds left, right, and center, and stumbled upon not 1, but 2 deep slate emerald ore blocks. I'm just built different. By the end of my expedition, I had collected a total of 34 diamonds. They really aren't as rare as they used to be. After heading to a beach, I used up all but 5 of my diamonds to craft a full set of armor and tools. I also used up the armor trims I found from one of the shipwrecks. Cool. After heading to a coastline and watching the view of an infinite ocean, I decided to take a break. A proper one. If I was going to explore potentially tens of thousands of blocks, I needed a checkpoint, or, more specifically, a place to store my items in the event of a catastrophe. In simple terms, I needed a place to call home. I'm not a builder, not by any stretch of the imagination, and it really shows here, but nevertheless, after building it, and decorating it with a few of the wood types I found along the way, I placed my bed, set my spawn point, and saved its coordinates. While this meant that I could no longer skip the night, as it would remove my home as my respawn point, it was better to be safe than sorry. Trust me, I have personal experience. After storing my boats in a barrel, I chose to take the jungle boat with me for no reason other than I had never used one in my life before this challenge. Well, at least I thought so. After taking one good look at my house, I promised that I'd come back to enchant my axe whenever I found the right time, no matter what the stakes were. And after saying goodbye, I waddled back to the ocean. I spent around 5 minutes boating around aimlessly in search of new land, long enough that it became nighttime. And because I could no longer skip the night, I had to explore in the eerie darkness of the oceans. But soon afterwards, I found land. Well, specifically a jungle biome. I was unamused, but decided that it might be worth keeping some jungle logs as a souvenir since I only had its planks. After obtaining 10 logs, I continued my travels over foot since the land ahead of me seemed pretty big. And a few seconds later, It turned out to be the best decision I ever could have made. For the second time, I had found a dark oak biome. There was no time to waste. I began to traverse the trees like Tarzan, trying to find the pale garden. I found a hill that I knew met the criteria to generate it, but alas, fortune was not in my favor. As I boated along a river, I began to lose hope once again. But as I was about to completely give up, I found it. This was huge. For my time playing Minecraft, this was arguably the rarest wood type I would need, and now I had it. The pale garden itself was pretty small actually, so exploring it was a breeze. I looked around, taking in my surroundings, until I heard something that definitely didn't sound inviting. And as I looked around a tree, I found where it came from. It was the creaking. I tried critting him out before I realized that this bro doesn't take any damage, so I looked for where his damage particles led me, since it would lead me to his heart, his only weakness. Trying to take out the heart was actually pretty difficult since I kept on falling all over the place, but after no more than 20 seconds, I was at his tree. It was covered in resin, so I knew this was his. As the sun rose, I quickly dismantled the logs, found his heart, and destroyed it as fast as I could. And just like that, he was dead. I felt slightly bad for the guy, since if I had waited just a few more seconds, he could have died to the sunlight and still had his heart, well, not broken. But it is what it is. Get it? Heartbroken, cause heartbreak? Yeah, I'm sorry. Nevertheless, as the sun soared, I mined up a few trees, and as I left the garden, I crafted my 6th infinity stone. Excuse me. Crafted my 6th boat. This one also felt really good on land, and the new white wood boat looked really nice too. As I explored my surroundings, I thought now would be a really good time to quickly obtain 2 more wooden boats. Finding new overworld biomes would be a little hard now since there weren't too many left to check, but there were 2 wood types I knew I could get quickly. The nether boats. After finding a lava pool and successfully building a nether portal the dream way, I lit it up. Oh my god, not again! Oh wait, it worked. Let's go! When I spawned in, I immediately found the crimson wood logs and wasted no time. I mined enough logs and attempted to craft my 7th boat. This was going so well. Wait, what? So the planks didn't craft a boat? I was pretty confused, but realized that it probably had a unique crafting recipe specific to the nether that I somehow never knew about. So instead of whining, I turned my attention to the nearby bastion. Unlike my last potato video, this time I actually had no reason to go to the bastion, but because it was literally right there, I crafted some gold boots and explored it. This was another bastion I had no idea how to navigate, so I looked until I found one of their chest rooms, and when I did, I disposed the brutes off their duties and searched the chests. The loot was mid at best, and I wasn't too happy with what I got, but hey, there was a gold stash right at the entrance, so I headed straight for it and took everything. I foresaw a stock market crash within the next few seconds, so I yeeted myself off the bastion to continue my journey before they found the culprit. Using my map, I was able to find the coordinates for a warped forest, the other wood type I needed. I knew there was a high chance you couldn't craft a boat out of the blue wood either, but I had to try. After bridging over a lava lake and traversing the rocky terrain, I saw it. I chopped a few logs, placed my crafting table, and tried to craft what should have been my 8th boat. Nothing. Like, actually nothing. Now I was pissed. I went to another freaking dimension to collect boats, and now it wouldn't work? I tried all sorts of wacky boat combinations, hoping one would work. I felt like a new Minecraft player all of a sudden, but to no avail. As I attempted to craft a netherrack boat, I realized what had happened. I was trying to craft a boat in the nether. There is no water in the nether. You don't need boats in the nether. You cannot craft nether boats. I threw my nether wood into the lava and headed back to my portal. I mined some quartz for experience along the way and headed back through my portal to a dimension where boats actually exist and have a reason to exist. My expedition did turn out to be a huge waste of time, but I couldn't let it get to me. I mean, if anything, it reduced my boat's quest from 12 to 10, which meant that I now needed 4 more boats to complete the challenge, not 6. I left the portal and traversed on foot, I now needed 4 more wood types: acacia, mangrove, cherry, and bamboo. I actually had no clue how to get bamboo and realized that finding a mangrove swamp would be pretty challenging as I hadn't come across one yet. So I imagined they were on the rarer side. When I came across a river, I popped into my pale oak boat and began swimming. I was half expecting to be on this road for a while since I calculated that I had a super low chance to come across a new wood type this quickly until I found the cherry grove biome and the savanna biome literally right next to it. 2 new wood types this far into the challenge was literally dream luck, but a win is a win. I'll take it. The cherry grove biome turned out to be a single tree. No kidding. But because of this, I was left in a dilemma. If I took down the tree, I would have killed off an entire species in this area. But if I didn't take it down, only the Minecraft gods knew how long it'd take me to find another one. So, I made a compromise. I took down the tree, but made sure to replant it so it could grow back into a beautiful mess of pinkness only it could grow. I then turned my attention to the nearby acacia tree and did not give it the same treatment as its pink neighbor. Once done, I placed down my crafting table and crafted both boats. 2 down, 2 to go. The cherry boat had a nice silky feel to it, but the acacia one felt sturdier, so I chose to waddle in it to the nearby nether portal I found earlier. I found a few friends to keep me company, but eventually they caught up to me, so I chopped them into small pieces. The portal turned out to be just as wasteful as the nether journey itself, so I continued walking. With 2 wood types left, my best bet was to continue walking on land and pray I found the biomes I needed nearby. I came across yet another jungle biome, which was actually a pretty big deal, because apparently bamboo can grow here, which meant I should be able to get the bamboo boat. I didn't see any bamboo though, so I kept on swimming forwards until... Dude, I'm actually the goat! With my target in sight, I parked next to the shore and pricked a few stems. This was genuinely the first time I was interacting with bamboo with a goal in mind, so I had to make sure I was doing everything right. I placed 9 bamboo sticks into a crafting grid since it made the most sense, and in my first try, I got a block of bamboo. Placing it into the crafting table yielded me my reward: bamboo planks. This was actually my first interaction with these planks ever, and I actually like its sound and texture. After overcoming my distraction, I crafted a few more planks and obtained my 9th boat, or raft as it was aptly named. This looks so cool! Honestly, I think this will become my main boat whenever I play survival from now on. I love it. I grabbed a few more sticks just to make sure I had enough back at home, and once done, I began rafting back to the ocean. Now, as far as I know, the mangrove swamp generates near water, and with the jungle trees sprawling into the nearby water, I had a feeling that I had a good chance of finding the mangroves nearby. I mean, sure, there was no guarantee that I'd find it, but I had to try. I kept near the sides of the jungle as I knew that if I'd find a mangrove swamp, it was there. But as the jungle biome ended, I knew I had used up my luck. This was it. 9 boats down, now I had to explore the next I don't even know amount of blocks to try get my 10. I started to lose hope because I knew I didn't have that kind of time. I'm on a friggin' internship! As I spiraled into a mess of chaos, I began to weigh my options. Should I give up? Should I scrap the video and forget I even recorded it? Should I subscribe to Venice because we are so close to my goal of 500 subscribers? I mean, look at this, we're so close! But no, I couldn't. I had to continue. In desperation, I found a nearby firefly bush and decided to keep it as a token of good luck. I was clutching at straws, dude, you don't even want to know. As I sat on my raft, I decided to head west in search of greatness. If all else fails, maybe I'll traverse the next 10 million blocks in this direction, and maybe one day I'll find the final biome I needed to add to my collection. Maybe one day I will find the... Wait, is that... Holy fowl, it is! I could not believe my eyes. After almost 30 seconds of searching, I had found the final biome. I had done it. I quickly parked my raft and broke the few leaves in my way. I was about to mine the only 2 logs I needed to complete the challenge until... I stopped. I'd come all this way, but I couldn't bring myself to mine it. But why, Venice? Why? Well, Timmy, the answer is simple. From a small age, my parents taught me to keep all my promises, which is why I typically don't make promises in the first place. But I made one to myself, one which felt like almost a lifetime ago now. After taking one good look at my house, I promised that I'd come back to enchant my axe whenever I found the right time, no matter what the stakes were. And after saying goodbye, I waddled back to the ocean. I couldn't mine the logs just yet. I had to go back to the only safe place I knew. I needed to go back home. I made a run for it. My home was over 2,000 blocks away, so I had no time to waste. I hiked over the nearby hill and decided to travel alongside the mangrove swamp. It was huge. I took a few mud blocks as a souvenir and continued my travels. Progress was going steady, and as I exited the swamp, I found a lava pool, which meant one thing. We were going back to the nether. The nether would allow me to travel long distances in a short amount of time, and because I already had a portal in there, I wanted to head there to cut my travel time. I found myself 160 blocks away and quickly bridged past the bastion I had looted all that time. We were really coming full circle. I found my original portal and went through it. I expected to be about 1,000 blocks closer to my home, but it turns out I was exactly the same distance away. Nice. But that didn't stop me. I began to raft in as close of a straight line as I could. Eventually, I had to travel a few hundred blocks on foot, and on my way, I found the Pale Garden where I got my 6th boat from. The memories kept on coming. As nightfall approached, I found a huge ocean opening and made a beeline to my home. I prayed it was a simple straight line, and my prayers were answered. In no longer than 3 minutes, I was back home. Because I hadn't slept in what felt like weeks, I took a short nap and began enchanting. Until I realized that I didn't have an e-table. No worries though, as I'd collected some obsidian on my adventures and had the resources to make one. When I did, I took a look at what the level 30 enchant was. Fortune 3. I was hoping for efficiency 4 at least, but this would do. Only one problem though. I didn't have enough levels. Fortunately, I was on the verge of level 30 anyways and spotted a skeleton skinny dipping in the water nearby, so I took him. In hindsight, I should have just taken out this creeper instead because the skelly was low-key kinda chillin', but it is what it is. It is what it is. With all the levels I needed, I put my axe into the enchanting table and saw what I got. Literally as good as it gets. I could not have asked for better. Now that I had what I needed, all I needed was to go back to the swamp. Instead of using my raft, I decided to take my first oak boat with me for the journey. It just felt right. I traveled as fast as I could, using boats, dolphins, my 2 blocky feet, and more boats until I found the mangroves. While I could have chopped down any of these trees, I decided to find the initial tree I found and spent the next 5 minutes searching. It eventually turned night, and I chose to take a detour to the nearby village to skip the night. I know I said I'd lose my spawn point if I died, but I realized I was so close to finishing the challenge and took the risk anyways. Even if I did die, it'd be a small inconvenience at best. As the sun rose, I knew today would be the final day of the challenge. I had been traveling aimlessly for so long now, and it was finally almost over. I headed south until I found familiar terrain. It took a little bit, but after a few seconds, I found the tree. This was it. Using my efficiency 4 axe, I breezed through the tree like butter and obtained 7 logs from it. I placed down my crafting table, converted them into planks, took a deep breath, and crafted the final boat of the challenge. GG! I had obtained the last boat. I had collected all 10 possible boats in vanilla Minecraft. The mangrove boat felt light and nimble, and I decided to swim back home in it. I took all the boats I had collected and placed them neatly on the soft sand near my abode, and seeing so many colorful boats was honestly a sight to behold. After sorting my chests, I kinda realized that I forgot to craft the chest boats as well, which was kind of an L, but fortunately I had the resources to make them. Well, except the spruce one. So I went back, collected some spruce logs, and came back. I crafted the additional 10 boats and watched over my inventory like a proud dad watching over his son's football game. Outside, I placed a log and his corresponding boat and chest boat over it. It took a while, but in the end, it was definitely worth it. This challenge was a simple one, but I had a lot of fun exploring the various biomes and the little extra adventures I went on to keep things a little interesting. Collecting every boat in Minecraft was a super fun experience, and until next time, all hail the Minecraft boats. I tried a similar challenge where I collected 1095 potatoes to honor the legacy of Technoblade, and if you like this video, I'm sure you'll love this one too. But either way, have a good one, and thanks for watching. See ya!